Hi everybody. So in this video I'm going to look at Vectary.com, and this is for students who are working from home that maybe cannot download the software called Maya. We can maybe use this as a supplementary program. So just a fair warning, this is not going to be the most elegant tutorial video, because I'm still learning it as well. But I'm going to attempt to model something that looks like a spaceship, and I'll show you how to do the bevel tool and the extrude tool. So the first thing we're going to do is just be sure that you're on object here, and I'm going to hover over it. I'm going to create a box. Okay. Remember that the left mouse button is for orbiting, the right mouse button is for panning, and zooming is your mouse wheel. Okay, so I'm going to select on this, and I just want to be sure that there is only one segment. So if I click on the box on the right, we have some options. So I'm going to make this a 1 and enter. I'm then going to look at ways I can scale this cube. So here's my gizmo. We have the moving arrows. We have the rotating arrows or lines. We also have the scale. And if you want to scale proportionally, you go with the inner cubes here to scale proportionally. I'm going to scale this down and then make this a little bit wider. I typically like to start with a nice soapbox looking shape for a ship. Okay, the next thing we'll do is I'm going to come over to, right up here, we're in Object tab. I'm going to move to the Edit tab, and it's going to ask me a question right away. They call it Convert to Geometry, and it's called Bake. So yes, I'm going to bake this. And because I did that, you notice now, let me undo that. You'll notice now that I can click on faces. I can click on, I thought I could click on edges, but maybe there's a different mode for that. Well, it's not important. I can click on faces, and notice that these faces can be moved. You can see I can move these faces using the appropriate arrows. But we can also do something else. If I select a face, and when you are selected on it and you move away from the object, faces are selected with a yellow. Okay, so if I click and move away, you can see when I'm selected on a face, it will turn yellow. Okay, so how are we going to turn this into a spaceship? Well, I'll start with the nose, and I'm going to click on this right here. It's called bevel. When I click on that once, you'll see something appears here that I can bevel down like that. So if I grab that, I'll do it again. I'm going to press that bevel, and I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to pull it down or up. I'm going to pull it down a little. And I'm then going to select that face and move it out. Right? Now let's try that over here. I'm going to click on this. I'm going to orbit around because I want two faces at the same time. So I clicked on this one. I'm going to orbit around, and I'm going to hold shift and click on this one. Now that should select them at the same time, which it has by holding shift and clicking those two faces. And I'm going to click on this bevel, and again we will look at, just grab this and create a bevel here. Once you do that, I can click on the face and we'll green arrow out, but you'll notice what it did was it beveled one in, so we cannot do that. I'm going to undo that. Alright, let's try this again. I'm going to see if there's something we could do. Just looking around, see if there's any these mesh to, no. Oh boy. Looking around to see if there's any type of symmetry tool. Okay, I don't see one, so I'm just going to go back to the edit. I'm going to click on this one face. We'll just start with this one face here. I'm going to click on the bevel. I'm going to bevel it, and then I can move it out by just clicking that face and using my move tool. Now what I'll do is maybe I'll just use my grid as a guide. So I kind of snapped it to the edge here. And I can also squish this down some with this arrow. Okay, I'm going to put the box here, and maybe I'll also scale it like this. Okay, we can also push it back. Perfect. And I'll try to mimic the same thing on this side. I'm going to click on this face. I'm going to press the bevel. I'm going to click on the face and move it out. I moved it out this far to match this grid line. I'm going to scale it, and we'll see when I push it back here with the arrow. I'll make sure it's the same grid line. Yeah, just get close, it's fine. Alright, I can look more of a top view here if I want. You can count this up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, so move this up 1. Look at this line, okay, just a little lower. Good. Alright, and just needs to be scaled a bit more. Okay. There. So you can eye it. I'll kind of orbit around. I'm going to click on this face now. And your ship doesn't have to look like mine, just saying, but I'm going to click on the bevel tool. I'm going to just bevel this down here, then click on the face, and I can kind of move it over and up. Let's see what happens if I click on this face, hold shift and click on this face, and I'll orbit around and hold shift and click on this face, so I have all three. I can press the bevel and take a look what this is going to do. I could bevel it like this, I guess. I wonder, that doesn't seem like there's a way I can bevel those separately. I'm not seeing an option for it. I'm going to just undo. I'll try it again here, see if there was a way. Oh, now I don't know where I grabbed to be able to do that, but I'm going to undo and try it again. If I press bevel, and if I go, well, it looks like it's working now. If I press bevel, and I did over here, it's one face. If I pulled from the bottom, undo, but if I do it from this line, then it does all three, which is what I wanted. Okay. I'll do that. And then we're going to extrude, or then what we're going to do, so I did a bevel. I'm not going to use my arrow to push those in. Instead, we're going to do this. We're going to press extrude. And what extrude does is it's just one arrow here, and I can either push out or push in. So that extrude tool just pushes a face out or in. Perfect. So that's what I want. Okay. So I'll click on a different face here. Let's just, I'm going to click on this one and hold shift and click on this one. And I'll show you that bevel tool again. So, oh, sorry, extrude tool. If I click extrude, I can extrude out. There's a little difference in size there. Okay, I can then I guess click on that face. I almost like beveling first, so I'm going to undo that. I'm going to instead use this bevel tool, and with that bevel tool I can shrink down yeah, we talked about this before where I can't unfortunately do them at the same time when I pull them out, so I'm not going to do that. It would have to be one at a time. So I would have to just click on that face. Let's get close. If you can't get the face, try not to get the edge, because you can also select edges. And maybe we'll do that. I'm going to click on an edge, and I'm going to maybe slide that out a bit. And I'll do that with this one too. I'm going to, try to match that up. It did come down a little bit more. And I'm going to take this and bring that out. I like that. So I'll do one more part here with you guys. I'm going to hold shift and click both of these. We're going to make an engine. Okay, so I've clicked one face and then hold shift and click the other. I'm going to click on the bevel tool, and let's see, what if I selected this one? It's going to be a double, but if I undid that. If I do this one, it's going to be one. So okay, I think I'm starting to get this now, where if I'll just undo and try it again, notice that this bevel icon has two arrows, so it's the edge that is shared by both of these faces. So what that means is if I bevel on this shared edge, then it will bevel separate. In Maya they call that keep faces together or not, right? I'm going to undo that. It's either Command or Control Z depending on your computer. So now I just undid that, but if I hold down this edge, this only has one little arrow, and this will be, you'll see, one face. Okay, just takes it all as one. All right, good. Now if you see that maybe this beveled a little bit thicker than the top and bottom, that could be fixed by just clicking the faces. Again, I'm going to hold shift and click on this one and this one, and I could scale this down a little with the scale box here. This one below is proportional scaling, so if you wanted to fix it up, it'd be like that. Okay, I'm just going to tug this out a little bit here. I'm going to just tug this a little bit out, and I'm going to press bevel again, and again I'm going to stay on this one there. I'm going to click on these faces and just fix that so it's even. Alright, and I'm going to push this one in a little bit, and then I'm going to press bevel again, scale that down, and click it to get the gizmo here and push it in. Good. And I'm just going to, how about I'll press extrude and just push it in some more. Excellent. So you can see what I've done there. Now if I want to move this whole thing as one piece, I would come back to Object, and now it moves as one piece. I'm just curious, let's see, texturing. I can texture this a color of my choice here, and I wonder if we can texture faces. Let's find out. I would go back to the edit mode, click on and hold shift, and let's see if I can swap it around and hold shift and click on these three faces, and I'm not seeing a material. Might have to do some extra research for that one. Texturing individual faces, I don't see that right now. It would be over here. Okay, but what we can do, let's go back to objects. So what I would like you to do is certainly add either, I'll just add something called a shadow plane here. Basically what that does is it just adds a plane or a disk, something like that, so that when you render, it will cast shadow on something. So that's good. So you'll take a look at that. We'll see this work. So to hand this in, you could either take a picture of it with your phone and upload it to Google Classroom. You can take a screenshot of it on your computer and hand it into Google Classroom, or you could go to Export, click on OBJ, and click on Download OBJ right here, and that will download to your computer, onto your browser. It'll go into your Downloads folder, and you may upload that as well. So you can do any of those choices, but I would like to see what you've done so we can have something to grade. Good luck, and give this a try.